You know, when we think about solving the climate crisis, our minds usually jump to the future, right? We're thinking new tech, futuristic policies. But what if the most powerful solutions aren't new at all? What if the real keys to our future are actually hidden deep in our past? Let's dig in. So here's the big question. Can ideas from 2,500 years ago really help us with our modern climate crisis? It sounds kind of wild, doesn't it? I mean, what could ancient China, India, and Greece possibly have to say about carbon emissions and rising sea levels? Well, turns out the connection is way deeper than you might think. See, the thing is, the climate emergency is so much more than just a scientific problem. It's really a crisis of our entire worldview. It forces us to ask these massive questions like, what's our relationship with the planet? What do we owe to each other and to future generations? And, what's our place in the grand scheme of things anyway? And it turns out we're definitely not the first people to ask these questions. For thousands of years, brilliant thinkers have been grappling with what it means to be human in this vast, complicated, and beautiful natural world. And here's what's so fascinating. When you start to look at these ancient traditions from all over the globe, a surprisingly consistent picture starts to form. A worldview built on this core idea of oneness, of interconnection. Let's start in ancient China, about 2,500 years ago. Sages back then, from both Confucian and Taoist traditions, taught that humans aren't separate from nature, not at all. We're a part of it. So the goal was never to conquer nature, but to live in balance with it. Okay, now let's jump over to ancient India and the wisdom of the Vedas. Here, the earth isn't just a pile of resources to be used up. It's seen as a sacred parent, our mother. I mean, that beautiful metaphor just completely reframes the whole relationship, doesn't it? It suggests we have a real duty to care for and respect all of life. And it doesn't stop there. Over in ancient Greece and Rome, you had great minds like Plato and Aristotle who dedicated their lives to understanding the natural world and our moral role inside of it. They really started this long tradition of seeing our lives as deeply woven into the fabric of the cosmos. So what's really incredible is that even though these ancient societies were separated by thousands of miles and huge cultural differences, they all kind of landed on the same core truths. We are part of nature. Nothing exists by itself. Everything is interdependent, and the planet itself acts like a single living system. This shared worldview almost feels prophetic, But is it just a cool history lesson, or can we actually use it today? Well, that's exactly the question a modern framework called Earthmate is trying to answer. It's all about translating this ancient idea of oneness into a philosophy for right now. The central idea is something called Unity Despite Plurality, or UDP for short. It's pretty simple, really. It says that while the world is full of amazing diversity, different people, different species, different ecosystems, we are all fundamentally connected. We're all part of one single evolving reality. It helps us stop seeing the world as us versus nature and start seeing it as just one big interconnected us. So this really shows a huge shift in thinking. For the last few centuries, the industrial age has kind of taught us to see the Earth as a machine, right? Just a collection of parts, a bunch of resources for us to use. But this ancient or organicist view sees the Earth as a living organism, an integrated whole that we need to respect. It's a fundamental shift from separation to connection. Okay, so this all sounds great as a philosophy, but you might be thinking, is there any actual science to back this up, this whole living Earth thing? And as it turns out, modern science is increasingly confirming what the ancients seemed to know just by intuition. Get this, the ancient insight that everything is connected is now basically the foundation of what we call Earth systems science, which shows exactly how our oceans, our atmosphere, and all living things are part of one tightly linked system. And that idea of a living entity? Well, that's echoed in the famous Gaia hypothesis, which suggests the Earth is a complex, self-regulating system that actively maintains the conditions for life. So modern science is basically confirming what these ancient thinkers felt in their bones. All right, so we've connected ancient philosophy to modern science. But now we get to the most important question of all. So what? How does changing how we see the world actually help us fight climate change? What does this mean for real-world action? And this is the crucial point. These old philosophies, they aren't going to give us the patent for a new kind of solar panel. That's not what they're for. What they give us is something maybe even more important. They give us the moral vision, the deep down motivation, the why. Why should we even bother taking climate action in the first place?
And the logic here, it's actually pretty straightforward. First, you acknowledge this idea of oneness, that we're all part of a single living system. Then, from that realization, an ethical responsibility just naturally flows. I mean, if you harm the Earth, you're literally harming yourself. And that powerful ethical duty becomes the engine that drives real climate action. It's not just a nice idea anymore, it becomes a moral imperative. This perspective also gives us a really powerful guideline for how to live. It's a direct challenge to that modern industrial mindset of more is always better. It reminds us of this timeless lesson that so many ancient cultures understood deep down, the wisdom of knowing when enough is truly enough.
Look, if you take away just one single thing from all of this, let it be this. When we truly see ourselves as part of a single, interconnected system, we finally understand that caring for the environment isn't separate from caring for ourselves. They are one and the same thing. So I'll just leave you with this question, one that both ancient philosophers and modern scientists are really pushing us to ask. If we accept that we aren't the masters of the Earth, but just participants inside a single, vast, living system, then what is our proper role? What are we supposed to do?